Yeah.
Earthquakes will shatter cities, giant tsunamis will drown continents, nuclear reactors will melt, buildings will collapse, the sun will heat up sevenfold, and the earth's poles will switch, which means north becomes south and south becomes north. These are all prophesied events that are set to take place on December 21st, 2012. Today I would like to illustrate for you the predictions and supposed forthcoming concerning December 21st, 2012, during the winter solstice, specifically those of the Mayans, Nostradamus, and various religions. This topic sparks interest and concern in me because of its catastrophic potential. These predictions, if they're true, will directly affect each and every one of us, obviously because it's the end of the world. For that reason alone, it is urgent that we understand the potential future threats. The first and most well-known prediction is that of the Mayan civilization. Deriving from their advanced development of the calendar, they predicted the end of the world and time. Dating back from 2000 BC to 250 AD, the ancient Mayan civilization developed a very intelligent and distinct way of life. They were very advanced in what they did. Many of them were, they constructed temple pyramids, palaces, observatories. They developed astronomy, calendrical systems, and hieroglyphics in their own manner. They were farmers and hunters and weavers. And furthermore, the Mayans, they excelled, like I said, they excelled in science and mathematics, and they constructed a calendar which would accurately predict seasonal and annual reoccurrences in days known as the Tzolk'in calendar. Now this calendar, it describes the energies, or as said by the Mayan calendar code, it describes the energies of creation moving through cycles within cycles based on 13-20 ratio that permeates the entire Mayan calendrical system. Basically, what it is, it's just a method that they use in order to classify the dates of the year and to have which they were actually correct in the way that they did it. And there's a method that they use because the calendar begins around 3114 BC, which is before they even were around. But they used a certain method that would predict various astrological events such as lunar and solar eclipses. They could predict them thousands of years before they even happened, and they had been accurate. Within this calendar, they predicted, like I said, the future. And it was set to end in the year we refer to as 2012, specifically December 21st of that year, which is the winter solstice. And on that day, a rare astronomical and Mayan mythical event occurs. Now what happens, well basically, like I said, it describes energies and creation. I already said that. But as it says, the terms, the sun will conjunct the intersection of the Milky Way and the plane of the elliptic sun. And The cosmic cross formed by the intersecting galaxy in the ecliptic plane was referred to as the sacred tree. And what the sacred tree is, it's big. Well, like I said, it's the intersection. But what will happen on that is that on sunrise on the 21st, our Father, quote unquote, rises to join the center of the sacred tree, or as the tree of life. And it's kind of when a lot of people debate whether or not if it's a symbolic meaning or a literal ending. Understanding the mind ideology, we can take another viewpoint, which secondly I'd like to talk about Nostradamus. Basically, he was born in 1503. This apothecary and reputed seer is best known for his collections of prophecies known as, can you go to the next one? Les Prophéties. And by this, there were thousands of prophecies, which he got a reputation of divine and psychic advice and ability. But his main prediction in the prophecy that he claims is that the planet X, Nibiru, which is a giant comet, will eventually crash around the time of 2012. These are a few of the prophecies that he said, which, for example, speak of some of the end times as far as the sky basically falling. And what this comet will do is it will crash into the Galilean Sea, and a tsunami will destroy Mount Olympus. But there's a lot of skepticism as far as Nostradamus goes, because he had done so many prophecies. A lot of them weren't necessarily true, and there's a method that he had used known as retroactive clairvoyance, which basically it's intelligent thought on ambiguous ideas. So it could be anything, because he wasn't really too distinct as far as what he was prophesying. Lastly, referring back to Nostradamus' prophecies, there are similar religious views and prophecies that convey a similar stance. As far as Christianity goes, Craig Nadler from Weekly Reader Organization states that there are some interpretations of the Bible that says 2012 is when the final battle between good and evil takes place. The Bible codes are clear that the end of the Mayan calendar in 2012 has some significance in regards to the apocalyptic events. Can you go to the next slide? Revelation 8:10 through 11 states that the third angel sounded, and a great star fell from heaven, burning like a torch, and it fell into the third of the rivers and the springs of water. The name of the star is wormwood, which and what happened was it goes into water and it destroys people because it's a giant comet or star that fell from the sky. And as well as that, a lot of people believe that we're going towards the end times because of the comparison of nowadays to Sodom and Gomorrah. Because if you look at Sodom and Gomorrah, it was an abundance of homosexuality, drunkenness, violence, and many people as religious views will say that it's similar to that because of how we are today, especially with electronics. And the Chinese as well. There's a book called the I Ching, which is the Book of Changes, and it points to 2012 as the end of the world. It's a whole 64 hexagrams and underlying codes that will match, and basically it says that December 22nd, 2012. So in conclusion, there are many theories and prophecies that associate with the end of the world, the apocalyptic beliefs, both believable and far-fetched. No one will know for certain what will happen until the date. This day may represent, like I said, a symbolic ending rather than a literal ending to the world. However, I hope these illustrations will stir up concern and desire to research them on your own. But until that day, eat, drink, and be merry, for tomorrow we may die.